Saudi Arabia lies at the heart of the largest desert system on Earth. "20 years ago, a bold decision was made to turn barren desert into garden cities. Jubail on the Arabian Gulf and Yanbu on the Red Sea. These cities are the cornerstones of Saudi Arabia's industrial development, and their potential for growth is enormous. Today, over 140 companies produce almost half of the kingdom's industrial output. Steel, plastics, petrochemical products for home consumption and export. In 1975, the Royal Commission for Jubail and Yanbu was established and began work on a master plan to design, construct, operate and maintain the two cities.
From the beginning, the idea was not to build an industrial park. The idea was to build an industrial city, and city means planning for people. And the housing policy, the design criteria, the architectural guidelines, the planning system was all seen as important things. It wasn't just the site for the industrial investors, but it also for the people living. And this is from the top managers to the unskilled workers.
Jubail and Yanbu are home to around 150,000 people. Many of them come from abroad, experts and workers from more than 50 different countries. For Saudis who have come from all parts of the country to settle here, the new cities represent the future. The need for a major industrial development had long been recognized, and in 1977, building commenced. Saudi Arabia's oil wealth would now be committed to building the country and providing the foundation of prosperity for all. The commitment was immense. The Twin City construction project was the largest single industrial development program ever undertaken. Nearly $20 billion was invested to build and maintain roads, ports, power and water supplies, and other infrastructure. New, wide-ranging industries manufacturing oil and petrochemical-derived products could now be established, reducing the nation's dependence on the export of crude oil.
We said, what raw materials do we have? We had the sun, the sand, and hydrocarbons. And we decided to stop flaring gas, which was bad to the environment, spent billions on gathering it, and then said, we'll industrialize. And we said, what is a cheaper way of doing it? And that is basically to build Jubail and Yanbu.
Jubail is located near the largest oil and gas deposits in the world and linked by pipeline to Yanbu, 1,200 kilometers away. Both seaports are strategically placed to export to all parts of the world, to China, India, the Far East, Europe and America. The great advantage of designing from scratch is that every requirement can be catered for, every facility provided. Overseas partners found support structures in place, enabling them to make major commitments.
One of the big assets that's assisted us here has been that we've had an infrastructure already in place. There is facilities from Yanbu, which allows us to bring in the heavy equipment, and we have a good road network into Jeddah. It's a good position, and we're very close to the other facilities here, the refinery facilities, that will give us the feedstock for this large domestic refinery that we're building here. We have here potable water, treated water, and waste effluent facilities at the boundary fence. And this obviously comes into the decision to build a project. there's a lot of cost involved there, but it also gives us the opportunity to get the schedule going on time.
The careful and efficient management of water is obviously very important. However, seawater is readily available, and large quantities of it are filtered, pumped and channeled to cool the heavy industries. Other essentials like electrical power and natural gas are also on stream in ample supply. Extensive port facilities are an integral part of the master plan of the two cities. Both are major export and import centers, feeding directly into the arteries of world trade. Their deep water facilities are specifically designed to meet the individual requirements of each industry.
This is 3 meters.
Iron ore is conveyed directly from the hold of the ship to the furnaces of the steel mill 13 kilometers away. Other materials are rapidly transported to and from the port by pipeline. SABIC's Hadid steel mill in Jubail has not only made Saudi Arabia self-sufficient in steel for construction, but provides essential material for corporations establishing themselves in Jubail and Yanbu. Steel fabrication extends from the construction of massive refinery vessels to the manufacture of the smallest can for domestic use. From here, finished products can be transported all over the country. Nevertheless, the biggest industry in Jubail and Yanbu is petrochemicals, and companies from many countries operate here. The largest investor in this field has been SABIC, Saudi Basic Industries Corporation.
وفي نفس الوقت الاقتصاد العالمي الآن يعتبر اقتصاد موحد، ولذلك المشاركة مع شركات أجنبية لها باع طويل في الأسواق العالمية بجانب التقنية والتشغيل يعتبر من الأمور الأساسية التي يعتمد عليها وسيعتمد عليها الاقتصاد العالمي في الحاضر وفي المستقبل.
International partnerships demand extensive capital commitments, and it's vital that they serve the best long-term interests of both parties. Each partner benefits according to his particular needs. One of the earliest investors was Shell Oil.
The main thing at this stage of Saudi Arabia's development that it gains from partnership is a window on the world and being able to watch developments in different partnerships. From each different partner, one gets different insights. And Saudi Arabia itself, of course, having a variety of different global partners, has an excellent insight into developments in a changing world.
In order to take full advantage of its worldwide partnerships, Saudi Arabia has made a massive investment in education and training. Specialist training programs in the industrial colleges of Jubail and Yanbu equip young Saudis to participate fully in the emerging industries. And it's not only science that's required. When these young men graduate, some will go into management or international marketing. Others will specialize in engineering and technology. Here at the Saudi Aramco Shell Refinery Control Room, young Saudis assume the responsibility of running this important facility. They also appreciate that education is a continuing process.
I've been educated at the Jubail College, and we came here. The first time I came here, I thought that I never handled something like this. Now I'm training people here.
Working in operation and industrial like this, you don't just learn one thing. You learn physics, chemistry, mathematics. We get a lot on-the-job training and on-the-job education. We go to courses, and You learn more and more and more as you go up.
Environmental conservation programs like the protection of breeding seabird habitats are a serious concern and given high priority. Industrial development has to go hand in hand with environmental protection. Royal Commission policies and programs on both the Gulf and Red Sea coastlines ensure that air and water quality conform to the highest international standards.
59.
Petrochemical products are highly volatile, and an immediate and effective response to emergencies is essential to the safety of any industrial complex. The Royal Commission fire crew train regularly and maintain a constant alert. In the event of a major emergency, units from different factories and refineries work together. Both cities have modern hospitals. Jubail and Yanbu not only provide medical services for the company employees, but are also important regional health centers for local communities. Sophisticated equipment allows rapid diagnosis and treatment of medical problems. Maternity units ensure the safe arrival of the next generation. The people who live here are from many countries and backgrounds, and there is an emphasis on the quality of family life. The Anderson family arrived from Texas 12 years ago. They live in a modern, spacious, architect-designed house and enjoy a way of life here which, although different from the United States, nevertheless has much to offer.
There's a lot of time for family activities, we find. It's not the fast pace that we had at home, so you have a lot more chance to spend time with your children. And the schools are very good. We've been very happy. The classes have been challenging for the children, and I feel like their education has been good.
One advantage of school here is that pupils meet and study with children from many different backgrounds and cultures. The curriculum is designed to ensure the highest academic standards, matching those of Europe and the United States. In time, most will qualify for universities in their home country. But life in Saudi Arabia is not all work. There's also time to play. The warm tropical waters of the Arabian Gulf and the Red Sea contain some of the great spectacles of marine life. Visibility in the Red Sea can extend as far as 70 meters, and diving the coral reefs is a popular leisure activity.
Every weekend, or at least once a month, that we try to have a time out here, and it's really great. A lot of things to explore and find here. I've only been here about 2 years now, and I really didn't know about that, exploring and finding all the neat things here. But the more we get out and travel around, talk to different people, we find our weekends are always filled. Have a great time.
For the expatriate community here, social life is much like anywhere else in the world.
I had nothing to base this experience on, so I came here not expecting very much, actually. But when I got here, there were quite a few people in my same position, a single young professional working in a foreign country, and we all tend to congregate and do the same type of thing. And the social life is pretty good, is better than what you would expect.
Jubail and Yanbu have attracted over $25 billion in investment so far. During the next 10 years, billions of dollars of further investment are expected.
The refinery and petrochemical plant have been in operation for about 10 years. They're just coming up to their 10th anniversaries. And they've been extremely successful, I think. We have a total investment which, with the expansions which are taking place, will approach $2 billion.
Investment in Saudi Arabia is an increasingly attractive option to the international business community. Ready access to plentiful energy supplies and a modern industrial infrastructure make it possible to plan for the long term. Saudi Arabia is ideally located and equipped to export to all parts of the world, east and west. New partnerships are being forged with companies from many different nations. Business opportunities target the demands of a rapidly evolving world market. It's only 2 decades since Jubail and Yanbu rose from the desert sand. During that time, the Royal Commission has shown a firm commitment to the continuing success and prosperity of the companies here. The 2 cities provide the foundations of Saudi Arabia's long-term industrial ambitions, offering a clear vision of her role in the world in the 21st century.